Tara. Today I'm talking a little bit about one element of SRT, self-regulation therapy, that we use in session that I've talked about before. So I wanted to explain it a little bit. And that's about finding resources. And what we're looking for then when we're looking for resources are the things and the strengths that you already have within you that have gotten you this far. Often people have forgotten those because we have this negative bias in the brain where negative things imprint faster, stronger, they hold for longer for a variety of reasons. What we want to do is really start balancing that with the opposite. Often people have a whole reservoir of experiences that they've had successes or victories or have been an overcomer, and we want to start looking for those. So it's more than just about getting to know each other. It's really about looking for places that the person has shown resiliency and strength. When we find them, we're going to talk about them a little bit. The reason that we're doing that is because when a person has a memory, their brain is lighting up in all the same ways as it did when they first had the experience. It's releasing all the same chemicals, and then inevitably there's a similar physiological response. That's kind of what we want to focus on with SRT. We want to track the physical sensations that are accompanying the story. And so as we do that, that's really supporting the whole idea of what wires together in the brain. And so we really want to go back into those more positive experiences and relive those and integrate them into the entire system by drawing attention to the physical sensations. Often people will have deeper breathing, they'll feel more relaxed. So we want to draw attention in what we call tracking of those sensations as we're going through the story. We know that this is true for when people have sad memories because you can be brought right back to that moment of tears and the same physical expressions as you have a negative memory, a sad memory, as you do when you have a positive. It's so much easier to access those negative ones. They often come back on their own. So we want to start shifting the awareness to what's positive and resourced in the brain through a person's history. If a person comes in and everything positive is piggybacked with something negative because their life has been really difficult, there's a way to uncouple what has been hypercoupled like that. But instead, and we will do that, but what we will also do is instead go forward, because the brain works the same going forward in imagination as it does going in reverse in memory. And so we're going to start creating the resource in imagination because the brain will light up in the same way and support the system in the same way going forward. The great thing about that is it also supports creativity and really instills that sense of hope in people. And the brain doesn't really care if it's real or imaginary because it still has the same response as we talk about, what the perfect scenario would be, what the perfect victory would be. As we really get into some detail about that, there's still areas of the brain lighting up to support a positive response and a physiological response that goes along with that. The reason the physiological response is so important is because it's really, the felt sense is really the language of the nervous system. And so based on what we know about the brain, how it holds overwhelming events, the different structures that have come online through development at different times, we know that this is often the missing piece. They're all interconnected and there is this continuous feedback loop, so your thoughts and your emotions do impact all the parts of your brain. But this is just a different approach, working with your brain really from the bottom up, knowing that the nervous system and the importance of quenching the kindling and kind of soothing the fires in that part of your brain is just a different approach that's really effective for helping balance the nervous system and helping people self-regulate and increase their resiliency. So this is one of those places where that strength-based approach, that resource mining that we do, is something that we do continuously, and we start it early so that we can build resiliency in a system and the capacity to start working on maybe some more traumatic events from their history. The other byproduct of this is that it really lends a nice positive tone to therapy right off the bat. You come in and you're showing me the best of you, the strongest parts of you right off the bat. You will often leave session feeling better than when you came, and we both kind of get to experience each other from this kind of lit up, positive, reinforced resource state. And so it really does take the edge off of this idea that therapy has to be serious and painful and full of emotional overwhelm. That's really not the goal with this kind of therapy. This is one of the techniques that we would use to help balance, to help give some positive reinforcement and increase resiliency before we did some of the more serious work. Either way, everything gets to stay in this range that's called the Healing Vortex, which is about keeping people from becoming too emotionally overwhelmed. The brain can't heal when you're overwhelmed, can't heal when your system's dysregulated. This is just one of the tools that we use that's the most fun to use and really sparks creativity in people and a positive therapeutic relationship in SRT. It's one of my favorite parts of it and one of the reasons I love it the most. So that's an explanation of how this is a little bit different from strength-based, but definitely strength-focused. And until next time, I hope you're well. I'll see you soon.